All right, people, here we go. I thought I was going to have this thing straightened up by the time I started recording, but apparently not, because that's too much like fucking right. But anyway, I got a good one here today. I am doing a review or a discussion. I'm just going to be talking, such as the channel name. I'm just talking about Our Father. Our Father on Netflix. I don't know nobody's names on there, so don't be... I just know it's a bunch of people on there that looking like that's talking a lot of shit. I gotta put my gloves, I gotta put my work gloves on to talk about this shit. That's how intense this is about to get. Cause this shit is crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Both on the show's part and on my opinions on certain things that go on inside the show. But from starters is, shit is weird. You basically got this one dude, gynecologist or whatever, fertility doctor or whatever the fuck you want to call him. He do gynecological work, gynecological. He do coochie work too. So he does all of that, and while he was doing all that shit, while he was treating these people that was coming in for fertility issues, instead of using proper donor sperm or sperm donated by the male of the couple that came in to be, you know, for the treatments, he was using his own shit. He was using his own shit, which is funny because this is the way the show opened up like this. It opens up like this. Dude, y'all ain't gonna be able to see, but the dude back is turned. It's like a shadow. All you see is a silhouette, and you see some rocking and shit, and then you go, oh, and then you see him put this little cup off to the side. I was like, ew. The show opens up with a dude jerking off. That should be an instant turn off for me right now. I should be on my way on to another Netflix show being like, fuck this, I don't want to watch this. This shit start off with a motherfucker jerking off. I don't want to see it. You know, I kept watching. And I just watched this shit like a couple of minutes ago, and I already forgot a bunch of the details of the show. But essentially, this dude is going around. These people are coming in, and he's using his own goddamn sperm. Now, by the end of the show, the little number count went up to like 61. Apparently, or obviously, or whatever, which one of those words you want to use. It's a bunch more out there. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch more out there. I'm thinking that's what they got in content. It wasn't that many people in the show, but I'm thinking that's how many they done, you know, got a hold of in the show. Not everybody probably wanted to be involved in that shit, you know, understandably. But I'm watching this shit, and it's the same thing. It's a bunch of people upset that this dude was using his sperm to inseminate these women. So he got all these kids out here. Simple enough. First thing that caught my goddamn attention was how this woman, they showed her laying down in the stirrup, you know, this dramatized acting or whatever the fuck you want. And this woman is going off about how, you know, how he must have been while he was doing this shit. Talking about why she was laying in the chair, that he had to go off in another room because there was never nobody else in the office. She over here describing how he would have to masturbate. And then his state of mind after masturbating. You know, when he come back in the room with the specimen to, you know, stick up in her thingy thing. And I'm sitting there like literally, I was on Snapchat going through this shit. I was like, how the fuck do you know? I'm like, how would you know how do you know how this man, talking about, he would have to, you know, he would have to go, he would have to get an erection, and then he, you know, you have to go hard to get it. How would you know that? How the fuck would you know that? Like literally. How do you know this man's habits of masturbation and his mindset afterwards to do the procedure? How the fuck are you privy to that information? I don't know. I don't know at all. How the fuck would you know that? So I'm sitting there watching the show while she going through this shit, and she talking about yeah, he had to get an erection, and then you got to go all hard to get to get. I'm like, first of all, bitch, you don't have to have an erection to ejaculate. I know that from experience. A lot of us know that from experience. You don't need a fucking erection to ejaculate. You really the fuck don't. Just tell you that for your little FYI. Your lack of male sexual behavior might be why your motherfucker couldn't get pregnant. Shit. You know what I'm saying? While she going through all this shit, your husband can't get you pregnant because you don't know how to operate his goddamn junk. But I'm just talking about, what's it, he wasn't in the right mindset to do that procedure after he done masturbated because he has an endocrine rush in his head. How the fuck do you know that? Now, this man, and this is my mindset of what, that man is going through this shit in a mechanical fashion. There's nothing sexual about what he doing. You got to go through the motion. You don't have to be sexually aroused, you know what I'm saying, to get that shit out. You just need to know how to manipulate the goddamn body to cause that reaction. Nothing but sex. And the dude, later on in the show said it wasn't sex. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't remember what the fuck he said, but he said it wasn't about sex. And it wasn't about sex. This man had some other shit going on in his crazy ass mind while he was doing this shit. It had shit to do with sex. The same way rape ain't about sex. Rape ain't about sex for most people. Sometimes it is. Motherfucker horny, motherfucker don't want to give it up. Boom, you take it. You know what I'm saying? But most is about control. He had some other shit going on that had something to do with some shit he did in his life to where I think he killed a child on accident, not on purpose. That dude killed a child early in life, and that was kind of his way of, maybe, they didn't clarify that was probably kind of his way of kind of making up for taking that life that he didn't have no right taking. From the way they described the accident, he hit a little girl that kind of went out to the street when she wasn't supposed to, and he like ran over her, so it was like traumatic or whatever the fuck. But yeah, whatever. I mean, stuff like that will affect people certain kind of ways. But anyway, this bitch, and I'm saying this bitch, but she's sitting here describing how this man got to jack off. I'm like, have you had sex with this dude? Do you know how he acts after sex? How would you even know this? How would you have just how? That puzzled me for a long ass goddamn time. I got a long ass stream of Snapchats that ain't nobody go fucking watch because it's long as fuck. And why? You know what I'm saying? This woman over here describing how this man have to masturbate. You don't know how that. He might have had a jerk off machine in this room for all you know. He might have some machine, little milk machine. Motherfuckers do that shit. They go buy them cow milk and stick their dick in there. Suck that shit right the fuck up out of there. He might have had one of those in his room. I mean, you would have heard it, but, them things are not quiet. So I'm like, shit. And then somebody else later on in the show went through that shit. And I'm like, again, with this shit, how do you know this man talking about he had, he ain't in the right mind to be doing this shit after an endocrine rush of ejaculating. And I was going through some shit at this time, like, again with this shit, how the fuck do you know what's going on in this man's mind after he masturbate? How do you know this? It's a whole nother broad. How the fuck would you know this? You done went and did some goddamn research. And then you want to start talking about what going on in this man's mind. First of all, his mind ain't right to start with. A normal motherfucker, all right, yeah. A lot of times motherfuckers jack off to relax. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, I'm not one of those people, but I know the feeling of masturbating and getting, hey, sometimes it works. Me personally, I get agitated after I jerk off. It don't work the same as sex, I'm going to tell you that. But I'm like, man, come on, how the hell you know that? You going to hop your ass on the show in front of a camera talking about how a man operate. Well, how the fuck would you know? Your man don't work. Y'all couldn't have kids. You couldn't make your man work, so how you gonna tell me how another man work? A crazy man at that. So you basing what you might know off a healthy motherfucker, or somewhat healthy motherfucker, to the mind of a motherfucker that clearly ain't right, since he just in here impregnating everybody that come in there with his own goddamn kid. That have no regards because he didn't fucking stop until he probably just couldn't jerk off no more. He just kept right on the fuck doing it, taking it. There was 60-something people in the show. You know, not in the show, but it was the number of people in the show that they kind of accounted for was 60, and it's way more than that ain't accounted for. So yeah, no, you need to no. That man might have been perfectly fine. He was perfectly fine to do what he was doing after he masturbated, because he's done that shit plenty. You know what I'm saying? He didn't fuck up none of those procedures. It seems he was well in the right mind, his right mind, maybe not yours. He was well in his right mind because he felt he was doing what he needed to do. So you're dealing with these people. Now, these are the people, the first line of people, the parents, the people that went in there, raised all these goddamn kids, coming to find out that the father, if he's still around, because most of all these people that they find are like in their 40s now, 40s and 50s, they all look older than me. They all look nice though. I would say something about the genes that he was passing along, but I would say obviously he was passing along some decent genes. They started complaining about it later on in the show when everybody started talking about they physical health. All these people had all these motherfuckers had well, most of them were blonde hair, blue eyed. Not all of them, but most of them. All the chicks that they had on there was like blonde hair, brown eyes, except for a couple of people. There was a dude, but I think the dude had brown hair, blue eyes. I think the chick was a brunette. Another chick had a brunette, but she still had blue eyes. But they was all blonde hair, blue eyes. They all had blue eyes. The doctor didn't though. Which is, you know, I don't know if they mentioned that in the fucking show. Now that I think about it, they was talking about this dude passing down all these genes and all these health problems that he passed down with his genes and shit too. And talking about, yeah, we all looking like we all blonde hair, blue eyes, blah, blah, blah. You look at them, they all blonde hair, blue eyes. You look at the doctor, this motherfucker is not blonde hair, blue eyed. That is one hell of a recessive ass gene that keep pushing through. It ain't that goddamn recessive. So, and you don't get to see none of his people, but I mean, you get to see all these people that you think about it. But I'm watching, and that shit pop out to me. I'm like, all the kids look alike, but none of them look like him. You know what I'm saying? But then again, it's such a big time span between, because they showed mostly women. It was a couple of guys, but even then, you know, they all have siblings, so they all got a whole nother branch, you know, a tree or something. They all got a whole nother side of family that they can pull from. But the fact that they all fucking look alike is weird. You know what I'm saying? But they don't really look like him. You know what I'm saying? They showed a couple of pictures of him early in life. But they weren't the kind of pictures where you can just put side by side with, you know, with some of the kids and see if there's any fucking, you know, resemblance or anything like that, especially with the boys, you know, because all the girls were just like cookie cutter, blonde hair, blue eye, and it wasn't until later on in the show that one of his chick was like, I was 47 at the time, and blah 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 blah, and I'm looking at her like, damn, bitch, you was 47 at the time, and you look like you do. I was going to say she looked like she was in her early 30s. I really was. I was about to say, yeah, she looked like she by in her early 30s. I was like, then I started, she said, I was 47 at the time, which means this was years ago. You know what I'm saying? Years ago. And I was like, damn, how old are you? Because most of the time, you know, I'm black. I used, you know, you want to go through the stereotypical thing of how certain people, you know, black people look better. Not better, but, you know, we don't age as aggressively as other races do. And you kind of cookie cutter that shit into white people, because sometimes I've seen black people that just, you know, black don't crack is bullshit. I'm going to tell you that right the fuck now. You know, and I've seen some Mexicans and some Asians and some fucking white folks. I don't see too many Indians and other people. It's just not a lot of them around here. But still, you know, I've seen a lot of non-black races of people that have been pushed up into their 60s that I would do really weird shit to because they sexy as fuck. It's how it is. But for the most part, I'm looking at all these motherfuckers. I'm like, oh, y'all motherfuckers are kind of old and y'all age kind of well. Y'all might want to be kind of grateful because he did he did give y'all some good ass Jesus. But they was all complaining about this. They got all these kids, all the kids on 23andMe and Ancestry and shit. They all found each other and shit through the little DNA matches and shit. And that's how they found out because all of them had been to that, parents had been to that clinic. And they all found out that's how they all found out that one guy was their dad, whatever his Dr. Klein, whatever his name is, was their dad and blah, blah, blah. And they had a raging hard on for that dude. They was going on and that dude hard as fuck. And something else that they didn't mention in the show. Without him, y'all don't exist. Y'all do not exist. I sympathize with your, you know, what you're going through. Because mostly with the parents. You know, now you done found out that the guy that you thought was your biological dad wasn't. Well, he's still your fucking dad. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? He raised you. At this point, you 50-something years old. It don't even matter now. You know what I'm saying? It don't even fucking matter now. That dude done raised you and did everything. Ooh, excuse me. Everything for you. All the way up until your goddamn adulthood. And it don't matter if he's your biological or non-biological. It don't matter at this point. He did the job. You know what I'm saying? You did the job. At that point, you know, it's disappointing, but it ain't shit you can do about it. Which pretty much how it played out. There ain't shit you can do about it. But they was mad. They wanted to see this guy punished. And I kept going on. You know, I'm sitting here by myself. That's what I do. I sit in the house, talk to myself, watching TV. I'm like, y'all mad. Y'all mad about this. Y'all mad about that. Y'all angry about your fucking parents. Y'all mad because this dude did what he did. And he's a bastard and all this other shit. And you know what? They are absolutely fucking right. But at the end of the day, if he hadn't done that dirty ass shit, you wouldn't be here to be mad about nothing. You wouldn't be looking back like, yeah, no, it wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be like the fucking snap. Poop. It wouldn't be like the snap. Well, if y'all got rid of that dude and he just was gone or some shit and you still the fuck here. Nope. This is like the Spider-Man. This is like the Spider-Man spell where it's like, okay, fuck it. Everybody got to forget that I'm Spider-Man. Everybody got to forget that I fucking exist. That's how, but you wouldn't have existed at all. If this man hadn't done what you did, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. I kept going through this shit to myself out loud, just like I'm talking now. You wouldn't fucking be here. All y'all mad. All y'all mad. Because all y'all, these motherfuckers got kids. You know what I'm saying? All these motherfuckers growing up and had kids and shit because the women that did this shit, I mean the original folks that started out with this shit, they old as fuck. You know what I'm saying? They old as fuck. The people that's doing this shit currently, that's going after the dude, are like the kids from that shit, they all in their fucking 40s and 50s. You know what I'm saying? They all in their 40s and fucking 50s. Y'all done grown up, had wives and husbands and kids and all this other shit. If that man hadn't done what he done, none of that shit would exist. No matter how bad or how horrible you think it is, it would not exist. You would not fucking be here. If your mom and dad would have managed to have a kid, it'll be somebody else, not you. You would not fucking exist. You wouldn't be here to fucking bitch and complain that this man was out here inseminating people against without their consent. With his semen. Because he was inseminated them with consent, but not with his fucking specimen. So, yeah. I was barking about that shit the whole goddamn show. These motherfuckers was mad. They was mad. Matter of fact, the last line of the fucking show was one of those kids say, I am not going to drop this. I am going to keep going after this till the day I fucking die. That was what she said. Everybody in this fucking show talked like they had some sense, but they was mad throughout the whole goddamn thing. It's the first time I actually heard like an actual cuss word. It was the last line of the show. I am not going to drop this. I'm going to keep after him until the day I fucking die. That's how mad she was. That he had done all of this. But if he hadn't done all of this, you wouldn't be here to fucking die in the first place. Sabe? You get me? You understand what the fuck I'm saying? Drop it. Because they actually end up getting him in court. He ended up pleading guilty to a lesser crime, to obstruction of justice, instead of all this other shit. And the judge, they got him off on 2 suspended sentences, which means he don't serve no jail time, off of obstruction of justice, and a $500 fine. This man has fathered inconceivable amount of children in a way that is, I don't know. I don't even know how to say it. He basically got off with a $500 fine. No child support, no none of that shit. Because none of that shit was relevant. All the shit that they was trying to charge him with wasn't relevant to what he pleaded guilty to. It wasn't in that case. That's why he pleaded guilty. Yeah, I just plead guilty to this shit right here. Some kind of lesser shit that had kind of something to do with it, but they couldn't charge you. They couldn't discuss that shit. No, he got off on that. And he already an old ass dude, so they not gonna go after him no more because they not for to throw that old ass dude in jail. They not. That's why they suspended his 2 sentences to start with. Because he already old. He put up an sick old man act and all this other shit. They asked the court for mercy and all kind of shit, and he got him just, okay, shit, fuck it. He an old ass dude. He can't, he not fit to do the crime no more, so he not fit to do shit. You know what I'm saying? At his age, he not fit to go off jerking off and nobody else. Unless, it's, not unless he got some kinky shit he can call some hoes over for, but other than that, no. Ain't for that. But I'm watching the show and I'm like, it's amazing. All these people got kids. And he did the shit so much to where it's a legitimate chance that, because they not in some big metropolitan ass area. They're in an area where this shit done happen so much that is known that you have to legitimately be aware of who you meet and who you dating because you don't know who the fuck you kin to. You have to ask people, yo, are you like, did your mom and dad bang and get pregnant, or did they have to go somewhere and get help? Because if they had to go somewhere to get help and they went down to that Dr. Klein dude, we might be kin. And they had a couple of instances to where people were like, man, they already ran across people in their community. Now I'm talking, you got to think about how long this shit been going on. All these people are 40, 50 something years old, and they talking about shit that was happening back when they was in the 30s and 20s. How long this shit been going on to where you meeting and mingling with people? You know what I'm saying? You go to the daycare, you go up to the school. You got a half sister that's working in there taking care of your goddamn kid during the day. That's, they can't, you don't even know they kin to you. You know what I'm saying? You got cousins and shit going to school with each other, little kids and shit, playing on the same sports teams and all kind of shit like that. And they got cousins and shit. They don't even know. You know what I'm saying? They don't even fucking know. So, I mean, and the community is, like, the size it is, with the amount of people that was out there that's affected by this, it's like, okay, you legitimately have to, if you're going to be doing some shit with some people, you probably want to take a DNA test. And all they can say, man, don't let me find out that it's somebody I dated. I'm like, at that point, I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'm weird. Don't give a fuck. I mean, look, if I was in a relationship with somebody for years, maybe not even years, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, and I'm talking about it like at my age I am now. I'm talking about the age I am now, not 20-something-year-old baby having age and no shit like that. I'm talking about the age I am now. Look, I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. You fuck around and find out that somebody, and I ain't talking about like no direct half sister or some shit like that. Like one of them off cousin type shits. It's just, you know, whatever, man. You know, I'm weird. I'm sorry. Now I ain't the kind of person that's for to go to a family reunion and start trying to holler at people. But I mean, if you've been digging in that shit for a couple of years now, why stop? If what y'all got going, it's just like, a lot of people might feel a certain way about that. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's whatever. Now, if it's one of them things where you pop up and a chick, motherfucker that look like you, that shit might be kind of off-putting. That shit might be kind of off-putting where I'm like, you know, we kind of look alike. Like one of them motherfuckers in that show, all them look alike. They blonde hair, blue eyes. You know, well, you know what? You see a whole bunch of couples together, blonde hair, blue eyes. I've seen a whole bunch of couples that look alike. I'm serious. I'm like, y'all look alike. And I don't want to hear that when you start to look like people when y'all hang out for that. Y'all just look alike. That can happen, you know. People out there look similar to each other, you know, whatever the fuck. But god dang, man. I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing. I got to go find somebody all together. I got to find somebody else. Fuck you going to go? If you live in that community, what, you going to have to move to a whole other goddamn city? Because somebody you've been dating turns out to be a cousin or some shit like that. Early in life, yeah. But if you 40 plus, man, whatever, man. I ain't got time to go look for no whole nother guy. You gonna be in the same goddamn community. What you gonna leave out? You gonna hop over to somebody else that might be kin to you too? I mean, you might as well stick with what you got. I mean, y'all not procreating, so what the fuck? You know, that's the problem when it comes to that type of shit, is the procreation part. You know, the genes get redundant and all kind of weird shit start to happen. You know, yeah, no, go ahead. Y'all ain't trying to have no babies and no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Just keep doing what you fucking doing. Just don't fucking tell nobody. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Oh goddamn. That's what I get. That's what I get. Let me talk about something else. I done choke trying to talk shit. Anyway, what else did they go on about in this shit that I wanted to talk about? Because that was it throughout most of the show. Was just him going on about how he was doing it, and the kids mad about him doing it, trying to figure out how to get him in court, and finding other people, and then they kept finding other people, and they kept, every time they go on the fucking Ancestry or 23andMe, all these new people just keep popping up, just over and over again. I'm just like, dude, how much nut did this dude jank off in that office to be inseminating all these women? That is a lot. That is a fucking lot. This motherfucker got more kids than a lot of people that had sex. Goddamn. Shit. It was a good show though, man. It was. There was some shit in there that was stupid. What was this? One of the daughters. I think this was the one that had the last line in the show that talking about she ain't gonna stop trying to get that dude till the day she fucking died. It was the lawyer talking about her and her talking about the lawyer, where she was trying to get the lawyer to charge the dude with rape. Well, the lawyer was like, well, I can't charge him with rape because, I mean, when you go in to try to charge people with stuff, the crime itself has to follow some certain letter of the law to be able to be charged with that specific crime. And what that dude was doing didn't fall into the rape statute. You couldn't just charge him with rape for that, because more than likely it should just get thrown out, and he wouldn't to put his name on that shit. And then they showed the little clip from a woman where she was like, yeah, you know, you don't want to call it rape or sex, you don't want to call it rape. You can't call it battery. She was like, well, what if I spit this? Now, this is between the this is both the lawyer recalling the conversation, and then it's this chick recalling the conversation with the lawyer. And she was like, Well, you can't call it sexual assault or battery. But what if I spit in your face? Would that be battery? And the lawyer was like, yes, that would be battery because you spit in my face. And I'm watching this shit like, maybe you got one of them stupid genes out of the doctor. Because you dumb as fuck right now. The lawyer telling you what you can and can't, what he can and won't charge this man with, because ain't no lawyer just for to go put their name on a case over some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? And you go off about, what if I spit in your face? Would that be battery? What does spitting in this man's face and battery got to do with anything with that man falsely, with whatever the word is, inseminating your motherfucking, your mom? The fuck that got to do with anything? You fucking dumb. You fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, man, get the fuck out of here. I really was. I was kind of upset after I heard that. I'm like, really, you that stupid? You say some shit like that? What if I spit in your face? Would that be fucking battery? And that lawyer was like, yes, that would be battery because, and this is her saying that the lawyer said that because you spit in my face. And I kind of wish she had spit in that lawyer's face so she could have filed charges on that stupid ass. Because if I was a lawyer and she said that shit to me, I would have, the first thing out of my mouth would have been so unprofessional. I'd be like, bitch, I wish you would. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that would have been the first thing out of my mouth. When she said that shit, I would have like, bitch, I wish you would. I know you upset about this shit, but you gonna watch how the fuck you talk to me. You spit on me if you want to. You don't even have to spit in my face. You get some spit on my fucking shoe, we gonna have at it. That shit irritated the fuck out of me. But yeah, it really did. I was hot. Way too hot for me to be sitting down watching a fucking documentary. Now I'm way too I was involved in that shit, like for real, like woo. God damn. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, they got the dude in court. He got out, 2 suspended sentences, $500 fine. He got off scot-free. And that woman was right. She said, well, he got off with that. That ain't nothing but a slap in the face. I was like, yeah, it is. It is. It's a slap in the face. Because, I mean, he's not, I mean, he finna go home, come off of $500, which you know ain't shit to him. He ain't no everyday motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? This boy, he like a retired doctor. He ain't hurting. I seen his house. He ain't. He gonna pay that little $500, go back to his house and do what he been doing for the last however many 10, 15 years since he ain't been doing shit. But he is an asshole. He is an asshole. So there's that, there's that. He is an ass. There was enough for him in the show and some of the audio that he played from trying to get these people, trying to keep these people from bringing this case against him, trying to keep them quiet, that he was kind of low-key threatening these people. Do you know who I am? And all kind of sly-ass, slick shit that he would say, try to scare people. Yeah, just like, he one of those. It's just like, dude. Nigga, you walking around with a fucking cane and shit, fat as fuck. You ain't finna do shit to nobody. You know what I'm saying? You ain't finna do shit to nobody. And then at the end of the day, he got the fuck off. I'm just like, yeah, man, come on. Come on, dude. Come on. And I think that's about it. That covers it. That was the fucking show. That was the fucking show. If you want to watch it, you can watch it. It's a good watch if you like that type of shit. If you don't, well, fucking don't watch it. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I watched it. I liked it. Even though it pissed me off. Anything that had me sitting on the edge of my futon over there cussing at the goddamn TV is a somewhat decent watch. Because not many things will have you that involved. Other than the shit I watched yesterday that I'm not going to bring up right now. It's a whole nother video that I probably ain't going to do a review on. Well, I'll say what I watched. I ain't going to talk about it, but I watched Roxanne. And then I watched Surviving Compton. It's another part of the name too, but it's called Surviving Compton, which basically is the Michelle A story. So you get to see Michelle A's rise and fall and rise, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You know, dealing with those NWA boys and Suge Knight and all that shit. I watched those two shows back to back, which I do not fucking recommend. You know what I'm saying? I do not fucking recommend watching both of those shows back to back. No. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna say don't watch them. Depending on what your state of mind is, you don't want to watch those shows in a bad state of mind because they will piss you the fuck off. They really the fuck will. And the Roxanne show is, I mean, Roxanne wasn't, you know, Roxanne Shante was, one of those one-hit wonder type things way back in the day. That was way back when I was a kid watching shit. I mean, I live in Houston, Texas. All that shit happened in fucking New York. And I was hearing the shit on the radio down here. So, you know, it was big for its time. But, you know, Roxanne Shante wasn't some big superstar. You know what I'm saying? You just, I mean, everybody back then, you know, you my age, you heard of UTFO and all those guys up there and all that shit. You heard of that shit. But you get to go through a bit of a life that during that time. I think everything after that was like normal people shit. You know, she wasn't like no big super duper superstar, no shit like that. She like regular people. Unlike Michelle A. Michelle A. was kind of well known for a long time. But man, like I said, I ain't gonna talk about that shit. I need to do whole reviews on that shit by itself. But anyway, that's it for this video right here. I am fixing to. I was gonna wait till I finish my can, but I ain't gonna finish this goddamn can. Ain't shit else to talk about. I am out of here. I will catch y'all on the next video.